Christie Ju is head of Hong Kong and China research at Jefferies. She's here now with a look at what's in store for the fourth quarter. But out of the major markets, the Hang Seng was the worst performer. So, tell us, why do you think that was the case?
Yeah, it was quite a surprise for many people because arguably China, relatively speaking, still is one of the major economy growing a little bit more than others. But I think it's a combination of things. People discuss that China is probably one of the most crowded shorts. I think there are different people talk about it. But also there are concerns about funds are flowing out of Chinese equities and also even out of RMB. So I think there is definitely a little bit of repatriation of the funds going on. Fundamentally, also there are some reasons. In particular, the sector in China property side. I cover the sector. August and September volume in transaction is just plummeted. It was much worse than people anticipated. Bank lending continued to be very tightened, as well as small and mid-sized companies.
Yeah, there is a real credit squeeze, but I just also want to get to a short squeeze, which is what Societe Generale is talking about. Todd Martin's saying that the Chinese equity market is due, well, the biggest short squeeze that there is on any market out there right now, and so we could see a big move up. Would you buy into this?
It's obviously, I'm not the expert on the short squeezing and trends and technical, but it will not be surprised that after a disastrous third quarter, the fourth quarter outlook will be a little bit more stable. To some extent, I don't mind to see the correction to happen quickly. Once we find the bottom and you have the valuation much cheaper than people are comfortable with, when all the bad news are factored in, the price, that's a good time to find a bottom and start to have some kind of rally.
Yeah, Christie, but what are the dangers? We've been talking about the credit lockdown in China, but how does that play out when it comes to the economy overall? When does it start to hurt economic growth, and when do these conditions get loosened?
I think right now it's still, unfortunately, in the situation of a lot of real economies already feeling the pain. We see small and mid-sized companies continue to complain about the quota, the loan is not in place. And for the developers, for sure, they are facing a double whammy. Transaction volume is not strong, so they are not generating organic cash flow. On the other hand, the bank lending and mortgage to consumers are getting tightened.
So, Christie, okay, transaction volumes have fallen, but the price of the property hasn't fallen alongside it yet.
It has some.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I think obviously it was still in a separate situation, bits and pieces. But for instance, city of Hangzhou, they are seeing price cut about 25 to 30%. That's very significant. In the city of Beijing, you see the area outside of city, Tongzhou, for instance, the price cut starting from the peak, it's already.
So it's starting now.
It's starting.
So when do the authorities look at it and go, hang on, this is not what we want. We don't want to see this acceleration in house price declines. They've got a lot of bullets there that they can use in order to actually loosen things up.
Mm-hmm. The key question is, at this time, is still there are only incidents of price cuts. It's not a general price cut. What you are seeing is the volume is stalling. The price cuts start to soften, but you may see a little bit downside. But I think that's also interesting enough. That's a time people start to think about potentially some loosening of the tightening policies. It's definitely a possibility today than a month, 2 months ago when we were having this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. But it didn't seem like this then, because I was listening to the interview we did a couple of months ago, and it was you were very much more positive than you are now.
Absolutely. I think what happened is end of August we started to turn more and more cautious, and the key reason for that was three factors we highlighted in our report. The first of all was August volume was weaker than expected in terms of new household selling of the transaction. Secondly, the sell-through rate, which is defined by how many units you sell versus how many units is available, basically get cut in half in August. And then the thirdly was bank lending, more tightening, which we talked about.
Christie, want to talk to you about, you do have buys here, very quickly, let's go through them. Shanghai Industrial, Renhe Commercial, China Merchants, Evergrande Real Estate. You've got real estate companies here. Is that because a slowdown has been priced into their stock?
Yes, I think in terms of the overall economy, actually we believe this time around you will see the larger players consolidate and become stronger. You'll see a lot of smaller players get squeezed out, and the tightening affect them definitely more than others. I should also highlight that we initiated coverage on Hang Lung Property and Hang Lung Group. We really see Hang Lung Property is probably a better defensive play for the China retail property sector.
Christie Ju, thank you so much for coming in from Jefferies there.